to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Rational Investor. Obviously, this is a difficult week because Brian is not here. And maybe that's also why Bitcoin is rallying. Maybe we should have Brian go away more often. What do you guys think? Sorry that there was no show yesterday. Hopefully you enjoyed the cycles video that came out. I think it was a very interesting video. Thank you, Josh, for putting that together. Amazing, very interesting sheet. If you didn't watch it, consider checking it out. I hope you guys had a great week. I know I'm not in the Discord too much, but I've been trying to post here and there, you know, going crazy about the breath. Everyone's excited about the breath this week, right? What's going on with the breath? What is this thing that TRI has created that finally people are listening to? By the way, you guys know I talked about last week the breath, right? And I showed you my breath data. Does anyone want to see where the portfolios are now if we look at this recent Bitcoin move? If you had traded $10,000 and reinvested it every single time there was a breath signal for the past year and a half, how much money would you have? And that's including fees on a very high exchange like Kraken. Is anybody interested? Do you guys want to see it? Or should I wait till next week? You want to see it maybe next week? I mean, it hasn't crossed bearish yet. We're still in a bull. So be careful with selling. We could still go up here. Maybe take a little bit of profits. I'll talk into why I would consider taking a little bit of profits up here. But I think overall it's amazing. Okay. You guys want to see it? I'll make my face smaller. We'll shrink me, and we'll get into the important stuff that you guys are here for. I've got a lot. Don't leave after we show the breath. I've got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about what's happening with reverse repo. If you're not familiar with reverse repo, look it up. You're going to go down to a serious rabbit hole trying to figure out that one. We're going to talk about what's going on with the options market. We're going to talk about where I think the S&P is going and why the crypto breath is currently short. It's short as of a couple days ago. And you know, if you had the breath, you would have been short at, I think, higher than where we are right now. We're at like 43.50 or something. You would have been short from, I think, 4,400 and already in profit. Okay, let me get rid of this and let's show my screen. Okay, breath data quickly. Let's go into this. So most recent signal. Where am I? Where is my... There we go. Here's my crypto data, right? We started from 12/26/2021. So it's been about a year and a half. And you can see we started with $10,000. Our initial profit was $1,595 on here. This one, yeah. So that makes sense that, yep, 11,000 here. I don't know why this one says 13,000. Because we did the 2x. This is on 2x, so it makes sense that it's 13. I'm like, why is it 13? Oh, because if you do 2x, right, then it's 13. You make double the profit. Just like how you also have double the loss when you get a loss. See how the difference? Maybe I should change this color. Let's change this color really quick so you guys can see this a little bit better. Text color. Let's just make it black. All right, so here we go. We've got cumulative where you invest 10K every time. We've got compounding where you invest the entire thing every time. And we've got 2x margin. We also have 3x margin, but just so you know, the 3x margin didn't work as well as the 2x because of the fees, the overnight holding rates. So be careful when you're using margin. Consider what the swap rates are on whatever you're using because they can really eat into your position if you hold it more than a couple days. Yeah, listen to George Gammon about reverse repo. It's really interesting because reverse repo is finally going down. It's draining. I'll show you the chart. We need that breath history to be available. The breath history is in the breath advertisement page. Pro right here. So if you look here, which we will be updating. So here's all the history right here. This is up to October 2022. So it's almost 1 year breath history. I'm just showing you the most updated breath history. We will eventually update this page, but it's all here under join.therationalinvestor.com/pro. Okay, so I showed you last week, and with this most recent move, which I haven't even fully updated, now we're at, so let's change it to 30,000, right? I had it at 28. 1,000. So if we change it to 30,000, currently you are at 78,500, which puts you at a 785% return on your compounding portfolio. Meanwhile, on the cumulative portfolio, where you only invested 10,000 every time, you're at, oops, fix this, 33,403. You're at 334%. Much lower risk because you're only investing 10,000. This one, you're investing the entire portfolio. Okay, sorry, wait, there's notifications happening here. Let me mute my notifications for you guys. Okay, sorry. So 785,000 or 785%. And then over here, we've got the big whammy, huge one, which I didn't even add yet. So if I go down one more, 257,000 on 2x margin. So you would be up. Let me see. Let's make sure this is correct. Oh, we want it to go off AC, the most recent one, equals to this one. You'd be at 2,575%. It's madness. It's madness. I barely believe it myself. It's really hard to believe. But the numbers are here. There's no reason for us to lie about this at all. We are trading it ourselves in portfolios. I'm currently long in the TRPI portfolio in great profits. So we might start sharing those official portfolios. We just haven't decided like how we want to do it yet and how we want to show verified results without showing the whole portfolio. So we'll do that. Just so you know, these numbers are not an official portfolio. A lot of this is backtesting, looking at previous data, and then, I mean, the last 1 year is basically forward testing. We've watched the breath play out. We don't have any further test data. Now, the question is why? Because the breath actually looks at 30 different types of crypto coins to give us our signals. And those top 30 change all the time. So it's very hard to backtest because you have to continually adjust which crypto coins you're looking at and which are in the top 30. That's what makes the breath extremely unique. And by the way, we're not just looking at it on one time frame, it's on 3 different time frames, and it's using some ridiculous amount of indicators, like over 50 indicators on every single time frame to then give this signal for each time frame, for each asset, which then gets combined into the final signal. So it's really a lot going on, and I don't even know how we would put this on something like TradingView because it's all custom software, custom database. Everything is totally custom. You're not gonna find it anywhere else. Okay, so hopefully that's cool to see the updates. Huge, massive up massively, absolutely, just in 1.5 years, up an absurd amount. Like, imagine starting with just 10,000 and compounding it, and in a year and a half having 78,000. It's not bad. 7x return. I mean, with barely any thinking, I would do that. And here with the 2x compounding, 250,000. It's insanity. It's insane. Okay, in like a bear market kind of. Okay, let me look at what you guys are saying before we move on from this. I just thought it's exciting, so I had to share it. I really want to check the date by myself, not the table. We need that breath history to be available. Yeah, so that's something that Syorn might be able to supply you with, but we actually don't have that much history other than this recorded history. This is the history that we recorded. Entries could be different based on time frame. That's why live history would be very useful. Barking about that since months, Julian. The history on the chart and the breadth indicator. Do we have 10K investment like this for the S&P? Yes, we have 10K like it for the S&P too. I can show you the S&P really quickly. It's just most people seem to care about crypto. Eddie, as I said, we can only go back as far as Syorn can show because of the fact that the coins are moving around all the time in the top 30. So it's very hard to go further back than a certain period of time because of how it's all calculated and how much data is in it. It's really maybe something that Syorn can talk about, or you can PM him and ask him about it. This is the best that I can get. And as far as I know, it's 100% accurate. We always looked at the correct timing. So as soon as the signal is given, which is for my time zone, right? So if I go here, so every single one of these, when I was testing it, right? So even all the existing ones you see here, these are all the signals. And we have signals from Rocket Chat that I've shown. Every single one of these comes in at 11:30 a.m. Bangkok time. And so then I go and I look at the 1 hour chart of Bitcoin and I take the trade right at that time. And that's what I've always done for every single one. Try to keep it as consistent as possible. But I understand being skeptical. I think you've met Brian in person. I've been around. We've all been around long enough to know like there's no incentive for us to make up any of this. We're trading it ourselves. So that's all I can give. But if you want anything further, I would definitely consider talking to our tech team on the site. Yes, Kevin, crypto can go higher. It's when they cross. When you just look for the signal in here, that's really the easiest way to follow it rather than looking at the graph. I think the signal, I always follow this. I understand it's tempting to look at the graph, but this signal is the best. I mean, it does help in the graph when you're looking at it. I can share it. Let me see something. 1 second, since there seems to be questions. Dashboard. All right, you go to the dashboard and I can go to my overview page with just like my two, I just have the S&P and crypto. I can show you really quickly. So you see the S&P is currently negative, but you see how it put in kind of a weird shaped M and then it rolled over. Same here. You see how you got a bit of a W and then we got the full long signal. But the long was June 16th. It actually fired. And then this was actually a false signal on the 17th. And that's why I say to look at the Discord signal, because sometimes there's like semi-false signals where we don't apparently get enough data. So we don't fire a signal. And then there has to be a system check, and then we determine if there's enough data or not. Sioran's apparently making this process more smooth. But you can see how then once we had more data, the fast just totally took off and we were still long. And it's good that there was no switch because that was the correct signal. But it was a W in a way, right? So you had up, down, up, and then W cross and take off, right? Same in the reverse with S&P, M, breakdown, right? So now it's currently pointing bearish since June 16th. It's June 16th at 11 a.m., right? That's what it says here, short. Oh, it came across at June 18th, 11:30. But if you look here, it's June 16th. But I think the signal doesn't fire until a day later in the crypto room because it has to close out. We're seeing about how to adjust this. Again, this is really complicated. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes than how we made it look simplistic, but it's extremely complicated. So we're working on simplifying it even more so there's no confusion. I understand there's a little bit of confusion. Hopefully that makes sense, Kevin. I would stick to looking at the signals here, and that's why we have them. But I understand your question because there are a lot of different breadth indicators. We don't just have the S&P and crypto. We have a lot. So if I go to breadth here, right, you'll see that there are tons of different Dow Industrials breadth, Dow Transport, commodities, sectors, bonds, all of these different ones. But to be clear, I haven't tested these. I don't know how well they perform. They could do really well or they don't do well at all. Where we get the signals from is a proprietary service we pay a lot of money for to get this data. And then we combine it all together to create these breadth signals. Okay, so I think I spent enough time on it. Hopefully I answered all of the questions. Oh, Eddie EDY wanted to see the 10K investment for the S&P. So if I go over here really quick, I don't want to talk about this too much longer. How much? We're 13 minutes in. Let's go to my, do I have it up here? I don't have the S&P up. I have the options chart. This is a older one. I have a different chart that has the other data for, let me see, let me get it on another screen and I'll pull it up quickly. 1 second, guys. I actually think I'm logged into a different account than what I normally use just to do this show because it uses less memory. Let me see if breath data. 1 sec. Quickly. Yeah, I don't have it on this one, unfortunately. Oh, wait. Maybe I have it. Okay, yes, I have it. Here we go. So it's here. This is my breath data spreadsheet. And you can see here, right? Starting capital, 10,000. Actually, I want to delete a bunch of this. We don't actually need this. Okay, so starting capital, 10,000. And we have a bunch of different ways that we traded it. I tried with TQQ and SQQ and long TQQ, SQQ. SPXL, SPXS, which is 3x ETF for the S&P, and then just standard SPX. And I ran it up until 613, so I didn't include the recent bear cross. I would say the level 1 education is a good idea because the breadth can be taken on its own, like an algo, but I would think for better performance, it should be part of a trading plan, which we would help you develop in level 1. That's just my opinion. But if people don't have time, you can trade it. I'm just saying I would consider creating a trading plan around it and use it as a major indicator as part of your plan. Okay, so S&P, this is trading on spot, is at 65% return in the past year. It's about a year and 3 months. I have the data from starting in 2022. Yeah, exactly, Jason. So data started in 2022 for this one, and I've got it at 65% return, so a year and 3 months. And then if you traded the SPXL, SPXS, which is a 3x ETF, you would be at a 330% return. Actually, I think this would be even higher. I can update this on the live, I guess. So insert run row, right? When did we get our... Let's just do it live. I'll show you how I do it. So I go here, okay, short signal 6/18/2023. So 6-18-2023, just like that. And where was the S&P when that signal came in? So let's pull up the SPX chart, right? 1 hour. Okay. And S18, it came in. So the market was closed at that time. So then I would take the signal right on the open on the 19th. Market open would be, I would actually have to look at the SPY here. Let's do SPXL. SPXL. Okay, 19th is here, the 20th. So I would open it right at the beginning of the day. So probably about right here, 87. So we'll say we opened at 87. 87 is actually a little bit down here in case you were a little bit late. So SPXL 87 right here. And we'll put 6-18-2023. And we got our bear signal. And then I've got to look at SPXS. There you go. Okay. So here's the 20th right here, right at the open. So 1465. Let's do 1465. 65. And then we do this. Right. So we do this and make sure we get the right one. So, oops. So this is a bull signal. So I have to look at, here's this. Okay. And then we got a bear. But there's nothing, we can't have any data yet because we don't know where this closes. But we did have a 1.75% return. So then we just bring this down and we update and we're at 43,700. There you go. And if I traded just the S&P, where would we be at? Let's go back to the SPX. SPX 500. Let's go to 1 hour. Right, so here we open on the 19th. So basically right when the market opens, you could have taken the trade. So we actually opened up here. You could have exited around 444.15, 4,415. Since futures are open, you can trade this on futures. There you go. So then we do this. And you got 1.45%. Nope, not like that. And then we just do like this. Okay. Why is this not updating? Oh, all right, because it wants to look at it here. Okay. Sorry, right? 1.45. So there you go. There's your slight addition. And we also take data from the latest one, G38. And now you're at 67.5%. So there you go. We're up a little bit. And portfolio value increased by 250. And our percentage increased by 1.45%. Hopefully that makes sense. The QQ1 worked well last year tracking the S&PX, but this year it didn't work well. Obviously, technology totally diverged from the S&P 500. So we actually need a technology breadth, which we do have, but I haven't been tracking it. So, and we need to check with the tech team if the technology breadth matches the QQQ actual setup. Because again, we're making these indexes ourselves. We're not like looking at, like most people would say, okay, you want to trade QQQ, you look at the QQQ and you look at indicators based on the QQQ. But that's not what we're doing. We have to look at every single individual stock inside that index and make sure we're perfectly tracking everything in there. And they're always changing the actual stocks that are in the index. And we have to keep up with that. And that's what makes it difficult to backtest these, because we have to keep constantly adjusting what's in the index. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I think I talked about this for way too long. If you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer it. It's already 20 minutes in. Let me get into the market and talk about what's going on with the market. Hopefully that was interesting for you. If you want to know anything more about the breadth, you can go to join.therationalinvestor.com/pro. This data is only up till 11 November 2022. I'm showing you much more updated data. Okay, anyway, let's go to the current market. Investor sentiment, I talk about this every week. Bullishness dropped a little bit. Makes sense considering the market dropped a little bit, but we've still got extreme bullish exuberance. So it makes sense that bulls are cooling their jets, and the breadth that we have is also bearish. Let's look at volume of options. What's going on here? So we've got a call wall at 440, massive put wall at 4,300. So obviously we're probably not going to go below 4,300. It's just not going to happen. Not going to go below down here. That's your major wall. I don't see the market going below there. Max pain is sitting right at 43, honestly 43.50. I would say 43.50, which is right kind of where we bounced from. We bounced right from 43.50. What a surprise. Okay, so that's let's go to higher time frame here. We've been in this uptrend for quite a while. We're still in it. No breakdown yet on a weekly chart. I would not get crazy bearish just yet. Even a 3-day, you see uptrend fully intact. No breakdown here. Daily chart, no breakdown. So this is what I mean when you incorporate the breadth as part of a trading plan. Like for me, even though the breadth is short, I can't get that short because there's no breakdown in RSI for me. There's nothing here. There's nothing here to signify to me that the market is going to break down yet. Yes, we have over-exuberant bulls. Yes, we have a breadth that's negative, but we don't have an RSI that's broken down. It's still very green for me. I can't, if I try to trade against the RSI when it's like this, it's not going to work well. I'll probably get crushed. I mean, I also had a TD9 that came in. So of course we would get a pullback. But that doesn't mean that we can't push higher. There's no reason why we can't. We even completed an ABCD here. And I think we completed what looked like a 5-wave pattern. We had like 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a 5-wave pattern somewhere in here. Well, we had this completion of this ABCD, okay? But we can still hit the top of the range up here. There's no reason why we can't go up here to 4,500, take out these highs, grab this liquidity before we finally maybe roll over. I'm going to shrink myself, by the way. I think I'm like a little bit too big. Okay, there, a little bit smaller. There we go. So that's the daily chart. There's nothing that's broken down for me yet. There's just nothing. I mean, lower time frame, 1 hour, it actually looks like we're breaking higher. So there's no reason why we can't move a little bit higher. Maybe we do something like this, pull back, Okay, and then we head up here, and we're somewhere up here, and we finish up there. I don't see why that can't happen. Let me see something. What's going on with this 4.669 I have? Why do I have this 4.669? Where was this drawn from? Yeah. Okay. So I created this from this midpoint consolidation zone. We tagged 2.618 right here, 1.618 here, and we perfectly tagged 4.669 right here. Not a surprise. Now, what about this cluster here? That's the high of the cluster, and that's kind of the low of the cluster right there. Yeah, so it's the exact same. We tagged it. And where is the next high? 8.77 is at 45.80. So all of this makes perfect sense. We've got a 7 that's come in on the 12-hour. On the 4-hour, we hit a 9 on the Tom DeMark. It would make sense to bounce from here. I think we're in a distribution stage now, and we've got to go through this distribution stage before we can expect any kind of pullback. I'd be very careful with shorting just yet. Be very, very careful. The market always takes time to pull back. It doesn't happen right away. It did happen quite quickly here, but for the most part lately, you can see we consolidate, distribute, roll over, accumulate, push higher, distribute, roll over, accumulate, push higher, accumulate, push higher again. And now I think we're going to go through a bit of a distribution before we then at least roll over a bit. So be careful. The main message is be careful with your shorts. If you're getting crazy about going short, be careful, because this could take a while. Okay, so that's the S&P. It's already 27 minutes in. So why don't we, everyone's going crazy about crypto this week. Why don't we talk about Bitcoin really quick? And then I think that I'm going to end the public stream and we can go in a private stream. And I have a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about. Like absolutely a ton. I mean, I do want to mention really quick. I mentioned about Peloton and how I took a really nice trade on Peloton. And then I exited on the spike because it hit my 4.669 level right up here at 970 area, and then totally exited. And look at how Peloton's just rolled over since then. Look at that. Just absolute destruction all the way back to $7, basically where I bought it. So very nice trade on Peloton. That shows the power of using chaos levels. So there's that. Very bearish. Wouldn't touch it now. Yeah, definitely. Actually, wait a second. On the daily, it's not too bad. No, I think this... No, it's not good. 4 hour... Let me see something. 4 hour... 4 hours embedded pretty bearishly here. Might be a little bit of life in this 1 hour, but it's definitely a risky trade. Okay, so that was the Peloton. Let's go back to crypto. Crypto is... this was an insane move. Totally insane, but it makes sense after this... Essentially this coiling to the downside, and almost if you look at it from a weekly time frame, look at this weekly time frame. This almost looks like a bull flag, right? Big rally, 1 week huge rally, consolidation forever. Like how much did we consolidate? We didn't really move much after this 28,000 level. It was just a little bit to 30. So we consolidated from March until June. So March, April, May, June, 4 months of consolidation pretty much, all springing together to create this slingshot move higher. And that's what it is. It's a very powerful push higher. You can see when RSI is in the green zone and then finally breaks out, that's when you get these huge moves, and that's exactly what happened. Right like that. Actually, on a daily chart, it's a bit easier to see. Yeah, so your breakout was basically right here, right like that. So this was your breakout, and on my traditional trading setup, I would have, if I was trading without the breath, my long would have been right here on January 19th, right here at like 27,000 or so. With the breath, our long was when? On the 16th, right? So you would have been long here at around 25,500, about $1,500 earlier than my trading plan's long, which is kind of frustrating. I'm like, damn, I've been using this trading plan forever and it's worked very well, and the breath is just destroying me. So something for me to reconsider myself about how much do I want to rely on the breath versus my own trading signals. Maybe I give a little bit more, maybe I rely a little bit more on the breath and trust it a little bit more, and consider taking trades a little bit earlier before certain signals of my own fire. Anyway, so if you look here, anytime we push up this hard, the rally usually doesn't just stop. It consolidates, it can move higher, and you can see how it consolidated for a while before we had one last push higher. I don't see why that couldn't happen here. We did hit a 7 on the daily, which indicates a pullback or a pause. So be careful, do be careful. But something else I wanted to point out was that we are in this huge uptrend. Uptrend. Let me adjust this though. Wait 1 second. Wait a second. What happened with this? This is not the way it was originally. Why is it looking like this? Wait 1 second, guys. I don't like how this looks. Why is it saved like this? So you have this here. Bring this down right here. About 4 hour. Oh, it's on log scale. Ah, why is it on a log scale? Okay, now it's a total mess. Wait 1 second. Why is it on a log scale? Okay, there we go. Makes a lot more sense. But why was it on a log scale? Actually, it still doesn't make sense. No, I don't trust my trend channel. This isn't good. I don't like when my trend channel is not the way that it should be. I hate figuring this out while I'm running a show because they take some time. Okay, look, this is kind of the point I wanted to make though. Here's the top of the trend channel that got tagged. Here's the lower end. And we basically have this midpoint, which seems to have been respected quite well. And it's being respected quite well, but we're on the other side of this uptrend. And to me, it looks like we're simply consolidating, or then we have a second move higher, which would bring us all the way up to 33,800, almost 34,000, which is the 50% retracement of the entire move. So we go right back to the 50%, which of course is going to be a major resistance level. And we get right above all of this liquidity here. Massive amount of liquidity. It would make sense to take out these highs and head up a little bit higher. This is definitely a big zone that I think is very important to pay attention to. And I don't see why we wouldn't take out this whole zone area right up here. It makes perfect sense to me, and that's where I think we're going. Could you get a pullback before then? Yes, of course. A lot of things signaling the possibility for a pullback. However, considering how strong the daily is, I have a hard time believing it's going to be any kind of significant pullback, and we're merely just consolidating, going to wash out a few bulls before we then head higher to our next target up here. Right, like that, around 33,500 area, right there. 33,000. Yeah, 33,700, 33,600, somewhere between, basically between 33 and 34,000, I would say is a good zone to target. We could watch this develop a little bit more, and we could actually create chaos levels off this. And ironically, chaos level points to the same exact thing, 33,400. So right in that zone. And ironically, you could probably create a little plan on how this is going to work out. So it'll consolidate a bit more. Push up to this 1.618, reverse, do something like this, push up again, 2.618, come back down, reverse, and then do this before finally hitting that 4.669, maybe push through a little bit, and then start rolling over, can distribute before it finally rolls over. That's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. That's what I expect. And generally, that's how price moves when you have a defined chaos target and defined uptrend, which we definitely have. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I know that we do have the, no, we don't. Why is my computer freezing? Sorry. So that's kind of all I have, guys. That's Bitcoin, and that was S&P. I do want to talk about maybe I take a quick look at the total, but I think it looks pretty much the same as Bitcoin. There's really nothing standing out here. I don't like that on the daily we do have something like this, where we're just barely pushing above this RSI line. But I think, overall it's okay. I think you're already above it, but you have a 7 coming in. So a little bit of pullback could be expected, but I don't see why we wouldn't continue this extremely bullish uptrend. Okay, I've got a bunch of individual names I want to talk about, things I want to share, so a few different stocks, especially in the tech sector, and then a couple crypto coins that I'm looking at, especially on the shitcoin altcoin side. But I'm going to do that in the after party. So if you can, please join me over there. If you're not currently a TRI member, consider joining. And if you are, I will see you in the after party. All right. If not, I'll see you guys next week. Same time, same bad channel. All right. Bye, everybody.